Hi, I'm Marie. This is a quick and concise tutorial on charting with Reaper for Fortnite Festival. What you're gonna do, um, generally I'm assuming you understand music theory and pitch differentiation and all of that jazz. Um, what you're gonna do is download the editing software we use, Reaper, click Windows 64-bit, the download button, and then move on to the Fortnite Festival preview files. This will allow you to see the notes that you're placing. It'll allow you to preview the notes. It'll show you what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, um, and just everything, every difficulty, whatever. What you're also going to do is you're going to want to go to the Fortnite Festival modding Discord. We have resources to get you started. You want to download this too, actually. If you go to Tools and Resources, Download, this file will change everything for you. Not change everything, it's literally the required. And what I'd suggest getting is the SWS S&M extension at swsextension.org. All these links will be in the description. And once you have all those, install them with the order of Reaper, SWS, and then if you have the FNFest preview, you just click code, download zip, and then extract it to a folder that you can hopefully remember, like the documents folder, but just as long as you can remember where the specific Lua file here is, this Lua file and its assets, because it's required for it to run. What you're going to do is open Reaper, wait for the Reaper evaluation to go away, and then click Open Project. When you've downloaded the thing from the festival Discord, you're going to open it here, like that, and it's going to load all of this. That's not supposed to be there. You're not allowed to be here. Let me just reopen it because I have like 15 different versions and might have gotten mixed up. Unless, yes, I did make a mistake. Whoops, on my part. I'll just re-download it. And then, do the same process to open it with Reaper. What you're going to have is a fresh blank slate. You're gonna see the different parts instruments here, like the bass, drums, guitar, and vocals. If you scroll down, you're gonna see the beats, event, and section tracks, which are also very important on their own. They're not seen by the player, but they are very influential on how Fortnite Festival detects it. And then down here we have Reaper, not Reaper, but the audio files they're going to be using. Usually if you download it off of some website and you just have the file, the single file, and it's just the whole song, you're going to put it in audio main and try to line it up so the first beat of the song lines up with this line right here. If you're zoomed in enough, which you can zoom by finding the scroll bar and clicking on and holding on the dot and then dragging it. If you zoom into back here and then you see the third measure right here, you want it to align with that. So what I'm going to do is get one of my songs, which is my downloads folder, surprisingly, still, and then just put it in there. Put it in the audio main track, and then try to adjust it so that it lines up. You're going to see that it snaps to the grid. What I would suggest to do is, well, because I know where the beat starts on here. It may take a little discovering and like listening to. I know that the beat starts right here. So what I want to do is I want to line up that portion with the 3. Once that's lined up pretty much, it'll be aligned to the start of the song. Pretty much. Like you have the time for the count-in, which is where it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sends you on your way through the song. You can see how it kind of overlaps here because this song isn't that good of an example, but because this is the intro portion of the song. If I were to play it, you'd hear it. You can see how that's the intro and not actual notes that I'd want to chart. So it starts later than it should, or earlier than it should, the audio at least. Once you have that down, you can record a simple sound or just clip something from the song or whatever, and it'll play, really. You can scroll up and down. I think you might have known this because I said scroll down, but you can scroll up and down using this bar by pressing shift. No, control. No, no. Alt, shift, and scroll, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the way. That zooms. That's control. This is alt, which is controlling position. Yeah, but just scroll up and down, try to figure out these little controls, and you're going to see this giant bar at the bottom. This is very important because this is where everything else is going to be. This is your mixer. This is where you're going to say, hey, the audio sounds too loud, so I'm going to turn it down so I can chart coherently. Oh, these have effects on it, so I can hear the clicking of the track as it goes. It's too loud. I gotta turn it down. Or you could double click it to set it back up. Like, oh yeah, it's too quiet. I need it back at regular volume so I could render it. Double click, and it's back up. These are the volume sliders, if I haven't said that already. And then there's the big one over here. This one controls all of the sound coming out. So now you're probably wondering, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And I can do this. But these are probably here for a reason. And yes, we're going to do a quick check of them. Along with the rest of our setup, we're going to do a quick check of them. Along with a little setup, because the default setup for Reaper is very inefficient in a way. This will make your production more elegant. You'll double click it, and when you do, you'll see this entire window pops up. It'll kind of block your view, and you're gonna kind of wish like you had a way to manage it easier, and like you'll be like, oh yeah, putting it here, it's perfect. Because I don't use the mixer very often. But every once in a while, you're gonna get tired of having to do this for the mixer, and you're just gonna be like, I wish there was a way to hold it down. And also, why doesn't the scroll of this sync up with this? There's a solution. Also, what do these numbers mean? Like, can we get rid of them? There's a way. There's a way. So first of all, if you want this to be where the mixer is, you want to right-click, click dock window. It's right there. And it'll perfectly put it in a way that you can, like, resize everything. You can grab this handle, shrink that bottom part down, shrink it up. You can grab this bar right here. It's kind of hidden. Pull it up all the way to hide everything, or put it down all the way so you can see more of this. And then down here, there's the tabs. You can go back to the mixer, and you can come back here. Once you have everything set up like that, and you're tired of seeing these numbers, and you just want to see the names, you can also right-click, View, Show Hide Piano Note Rolls, Show Hide Note Rows, and then click Hide Unused and Unnamed Note Rows. And it'll simplify it so that you only see the ones that are relevant to the song, like the part that you're charting. So you'll only see the energy phrases, which honestly these should be because in game they call them energy phrases. The developer of Festival calls them energy phrases. It's kind of ubiquitous. Once you have that set up, and you're probably still wondering, why is it still free? Again, view, we'll right click view, piano roll time base, and then project synced. And now they'll zoom together. They'll scroll together. And you zoom in a little bit, it'll automatically update at the top when it reaches the end so that you can keep scrolling on with the bottom, and you'll see the lines, they just adjust. They work perfectly. And you're pretty much ready, except for one thing. At the bottom, if you clicked and resized this handle, you're going to see these events down here. These are called events, text events, and they define what festival sees in your song. Part guitar just explains to Fortnite Festival, hey, this is the guitar part, the lead part. Just leave it in. Don't touch it. Unless you're having problems with the MIDI loading, don't touch it. We can explain how to fix it for you, just don't touch it. We don't understand if it's working properly or not, but just don't touch it. Something goes wrong, it's probably something else, but if this is, we will know if this is truly the issue. Just ignore it. There's nothing wrong with it, honestly. And then you're gonna, but this thing has to be the first. If it's all the way over here, the chart will not load. If it's all the way over there, it'll load. And you have to check this with every single track, especially events. Make sure it's there. Beat, section, bass, drums, guitar, vocals, and also on the events track, please make sure that music starts where your audio starts, which is always going to be on the third measure, pretty much, typically, usually. And that's just where it's going to be, because that tells Fortnite Festival, hey, song starts now. Bring up the highway, do whatever. So if it's a long, two measures, it'll bring it up at the end of the long two measures. Now once you go to the end, you're going to see music end and end. End should be at the end of the song. Just entirely. Music end should be where the last note is played. So you'll see, well, I have a few issues to go over, but I'm not going to go over them now. You want the music end to end where the song ends. So right about there is right where you should probably put it, because the audio ends right there. You want to put the end track right where the song file ends, pretty much, or right before where the song file ends. So that it'll say, hey, the audio file is over. Go back to menu, show results. Just between this period, Fortnite Festival will say, hey, it's time to deconstruct the highway. We're getting ready to go back. Crowd can shut up, whatever. Once you have that all set up and you have these for sure, you can look at other tracks like the beat track, which pretty much only describe to the user, not the user, but to the game, hey, these are the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And it goes with the beat of the song. You don't really have to touch it unless your song is longer. You can then go to the end and just kind of like drag it out a bit and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or just like right click to drag and then select them all and then Control C to copy and then go over to the next measure, which there's enough space, and then Control V. You really only need this to the end of the song, like where the audio file legitimately ends, so all of this is unnecessary pretty much. And you can trim by just clicking the edge where you see like the C and the resize arrow, and then just drag it down all the way to the end of the song, and it'll be fine. Same with every other track, really. I'm not sure if this just like makes it better, like makes it work. It's just like a nice little thing I like to do to make sure that my tracks are very nice, and so that Reaper doesn't say, hey, we're going to render this audio than it needs to be. Now, once we're here, we're going to realize something very quickly. This song does not line up all the way through. In fact, usually songs, they end at the end of a measure, but this one doesn't. I can tell you for a fact that it does. This is where I explain tempo mapping. And it's going to get dirty. And that's for another video, please. Any of this has confused you, please hop in the Fortnite Festival Discord. We are willing to help you. Do not be afraid to ask questions. And don't be afraid to look at the resources we have. There's a document from the YARG Discord that should explain how charting works in Reaper. So if you want to go in depth with more detailed things, like if you wanted to chart for Guitar Hero or Yarg, or just go deeper, that this is what's for you. If you want to look into the events, this is for you, and this is the preview effect pretty much. I'll explain tempo mapping before we put any notes down because that is the most important thing ever. And make sure the notes are aligned. It's make sure that overdrive, the double points mode, is working properly because it relies on BPM and not like time. And generally, it just makes the chart seem cooler to play.